Hello and a warm welcome to Nationwide. I am Ifoma Ojintan. The National Economic Council meeting is currently holding and chaired by Vice President Kashim Shettima and state governors. The meeting, which is second since the inauguration of the council by President Bola Tinubu, is focusing on ways to cushion the effects of fuel subsidy removal. Progressive Governors Forum have reactivated plans towards maintaining the leadership strength of the party under the leadership of the acting national chairman, Abubakar Kyari. Chairman of the forum and Imo State's Governor, Hope Uzodinma, says the governors have accepted the voluntary exit of the former national chairman, Abdullahi Adamu, and former national secretary, Iyola Omishore. Salihu Gonara reports.
In their usual style and in the late hours, APC governors converged on the Imo State Governors Lodge for a closed-door meeting that lasted about 4 hours. At the end, the governors came out with a scorecard of the immediate past national chairman and national secretary of APC, who voluntarily resigned.
We commended the wisdom in what they have done, and they served us well in the party. We're happy with their services, and the party is united. There's no crisis in the party. They are happy. We also are happy. So we are in support of their actions, and we will continue to commend and respect and recognize the services they have rendered to our great party.
They also deliberated on how to utilize resources to cushion the effects of fuel subsidy removal and promote economic growth.
We are aware that the result of the removal of petroleum subsidy will increase the volume of money that will be received by us during the Federation account meeting. And we are working with federal government to ensure that the proceeds of that fact will be utilized in a manner that the citizens of the country are happy, the labor happy, we also, the practitioners happy, and also the economy of the country will be protected. Our economic managers supported to ensure that our solvency margin is not tampered with in the international market. Instead, it will be improved upon.
The progressive governors are confident that the party is united and solicited the support of members at all levels. In Abuja, Salihu Gonara, NTA News.
Fuel subsidy removal was a tough decision taken by the federal government towards economic revamp for the benefit of all citizens. Kenneth Nanim reports that the National Orientation Agency is leveraging its staff strength across the nation to intensify campaign on behavioral change and sensitization of the public to buy into the initiative.
Converged here are directors of the National Orientation Agency from the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT. They are here for a comparative analysis on the feedback reports of the series of awareness and sensitization campaigns carried out earlier by the agency across the country on the expected economic impact when the fuel subsidy is finally removed. With the realities now on ground, the agency is intentional about widening conversations towards providing adequate and correct information to the public against conspiracy theories making the rounds on the intentions of government policies regarding the present socio-economic realities.
We need to sustain the sensitization on subsidy removal as well as the advocacy to get public buy-in. With respect, the recent price hike in the price per litre of petrol is being seen by the public as another increase in the price of petrol by the government. This is a wrong impression, and the public needs to be educated on this. Prices will go up and down depending on market forces.
Therefore, recommendations from this forum, Director General of the agency says, will be forwarded to relevant authorities to serve as a guide towards the effective implementation of programs designed to cushion the effects of the subsidy removal. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
And now to security matters, the military has remained persistent in raiding criminals from their enclaves across geopolitical spread of the nation's territory and will not slow down until permanent peace and stability return to all the troubled spots and borders. This was during the July briefing on some of the breakthroughs by the military in combating banditry, Boko Haram and other criminal syndicates terrorizing the country. Director Defense Media Operations Major General Edward Buba says operations within the month have been incredible as different troops across the theater commands tamed activities of criminals and seized volumes of ammunition and recovered arms and dangerous weapons.
Offensive posture by the military, indicated by the ongoing operations, would surely cause the perpetrators of these security challenges to reconsider their position. In the course of operations, you would have observed that the military received support, such as tip-off, intelligence, cooperation and synergy, among others. This is to indicate that the security challenges confronting us require a collective effort.
General Buba also disclosed that air interdiction will be sustained and manhunt against operators of illegal refineries and other national assets will be topmost until perpetrators are fished out and prosecuted, and solicit support of the public in achieving timely and accurate intelligence gatherings. Meanwhile, the Nigerian army says over 22 terrorists, mostly made up of foot soldiers of the deceased notorious terrorist kingpin Abdul Karim Lawal, aka Abdul Karim Boss, have been neutralized by troops of air component of Operation Hadarin Daji at Batsari and Poi in Katsina State. Spokesperson of the Nigerian Air Force, Air Commodore Edward Gapquart, said the neutralized terrorists were identified as having been responsible for abductions and attacks on some communities within Kankara local government area, including the killing of Dutsema police area. He said the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Vice Marshal Hassan Abubakar, has directed that all air component commanders should synergize to deal with the menace, particularly now that the terrorists are seeking for a negotiated end to their meaningless war on innocent Nigerians. Oil thefts and illegal refining of petroleum products remain a concern not just to the authorities but the locals, arising from the impact on environment, health, and most of all, the economy. And now we join Kingsley Amajiri in Port Harcourt for the latest on the effects of oil thefts. Hello, Kingsley. Kingsley, can you tell us what are the burning issues on oil theft in Port Harcourt and other oil-producing communities?
IFOMA is a concern to every stakeholders in Rivers State in general. The issue of oil theft, which is having a great impact not only on the health, economy, but also on the overall well-being of the populace. Take, for instance, the issue of agriculture and fishing, which is a primary concern, primary occupation of the people, have been adversely affected by this oil theft. Most of those who engage in oil theft subsequently go into illegal refining activities, which contributes to pollution of the environment, both the air, the land, and the sea. This is a growing concern. And for the security agencies, it's also a disturbing concern to them, notwithstanding the efforts put in place by the authorities to clamp down on these activities. The people, these miscreants, so to speak, they are unrelenting, adopting various strategies to beat the authorities in their nefarious act. And for those who are worried about the situation, they want a concerted effort both from the authorities and the local populace who are also bearing the brunt of these illegal activities that is going on across the state.
Okay, Kingsley, tell us, what is the current level of security around critical infrastructure in Rivers State?
Please come again. I didn't get that question well.
Okay, I thought you should tell us, the current level of security around critical infrastructure in Rivers State.
Well, you have the men of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps who are the primary personnel that protect critical infrastructure, and the Nigerian Navy, whose primary duties are for the protection of the critical infrastructure within the coastal area. And the Nigerian Army, in fact, the Joint Task Force, they are spread across the state, across various locations, but notwithstanding their presence, these activities keep recurring, and people are worried that these activities that are happening in the presence of these security authorities are a concern, and they want maybe the authority, now that we have new service chiefs, maybe they will deploy new strategies to beat the current approach these men of the underworld are adopting to carry out their unwholesome activities in the state.
Okay, talking about the locals, how have they been coping so far? And before now, have the security agencies been able to record any success or been able to penalize any of these persons carrying out these acts to serve as a deterrent to others?
Well, a number of them have been caught, both from the Nigerian Army, the NSCDC, the Navy. We've seen events where some of those who are involved in this act are caught. But the last time the Nigerian Navy went for operation, the commander of the NNS Pathfinder expressed concern that many a times that these people are arrested, the penalties that are coming out from the courts are not severe enough to deter those people who go into this illegal oil bunkering activities. And he was advocating that there should be a review of the laws so that there will be greater sanctions that will help to deter. Don't also recall that there was a time the past administration had set up mandated the council chairman across the 23 local government areas to ensure that they clamp down on these activities of illegal oil bunkering in the state. One of those chairmen we have Barrister Chidi Lloyd, who is the chairman of Emoha local government area, was active in his own LGA in the course of this fight against illegal oil bunkering in the state. I have him with me here, Barrister Chidi Lloyd, who is the chairman of Emoha local government area. Let's also get his perspective, what the councils are doing to help check this illegal oil theft within the state and the Niger Delta. So we're looking at the impact of oil bunkering activities on the economy of the nation and the state in particular.
Well, that cannot be overflogged. The impact of this illegal oil theft, first and foremost, makes it impossible for government to deliver on its promises to the citizens. When the revenue dwindles, it means that the functions of government will also suffer. Government, you can see we are grappling with removal of subsidy and all that. This is as a result of dwindling revenue to government. So you recall that in 2022, precisely in January of 2022, the former governor of Rivers State, Chief Barrister E.M. Wike, gave a marching order to the 23 local government chairmen in the state to fight this menace in the state. Usually we looked at it from the point of environmental pollution. You recall that Port Harcourt became the city of black soot, what was referred to as black soot. It became impossible for people to breathe clean air in Port Harcourt and its environs. So, and we had increase in cases, medical cases of asthma and other bronchial diseases. So we had to fight this menace headlong. Myself and other of my colleagues went into all the nooks and crannies because the former governor then gave us the enablement provided for us. But like I've always said at different fora, the issue of the issue of the fight against this menace is not something any local government can do alone. Because you need, for us who have rivers, ocean, for those from Akokotoro, Asaritoro, Ahuda West, they need to get pontoon to carry swamp boogies into the creek to destroy the pipes that have been already dug professionally. So because of this fight, I discovered quite a lot of things. First, I discovered the collaboration of the armed forces. The collaboration of the armed forces in what they are doing. Because if the armed forces do not collaborate, this will not be possible. And I want to use this opportunity to commend Navy Commodore Suleiman, who has been doing the fight. And I urge us that this is the time for us to stand up and fight this menace once and for all.
All right, you've heard the perspective from the local government chairman. I think the more effort is also needed to consolidate on the fight against illegal oil bunkering within the Niger Delta region. Ifeoma, is back to you in the studio.
Thank you very much indeed, Kingsley, for that update, and that will be all. Thank you very much. Now, to judicial matters, the Federal High Court Abuja has granted the prayers of the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, to have access to the medical doctor of his choice outside the facilities of DSS and all his medical records made available to him. The presiding judge, Justice Binta Nyako, gave the order in a fundamental rights enforcement suit filed by the defendant's applicant. The court, which also dismissed the preliminary objections filed by the Department of State Services, equally ordered the DSS to monitor, record, and seal all medical sessions administered on the IPOB leader for security purposes. Meanwhile, 66 witnesses have so far testified in aid of the petition filed by the People's Democratic Party and its candidates before the Ogun State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal, challenging the victory of Governor Dapo Abiodun of the All Progressives Congress APC. Yemi Dalemo completes the report.
The People's Democratic Party, PDP, and its governorship candidate, Ladi Adebutu, brought the witnesses before the Honorable Justice Hamidu Kunaza-led three-man tribunal in support of its petition against the victory of Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun. The witnesses were led in evidence in chief by the petitioner's counsel, Godi Uche, SAN, and were cross-examined by counsels to the respondents, who are INEC, Governor Dapo Abiodun, and the All Progressive Congress, APC.
We've been able to show the inconsistency in the stories being told. And as usual, they also came with their identical statements or notes. And then we also took them under cross-examination as they come.
On the issue of alleged vote buying leveled against the People's Democratic Party, PDP, the chairman of the party in Ogun State, Sikirulai Ogundele, challenged the State Police Command to make public a report of its investigation into the allegations of the All Progressive Congress, APC.
The petition, their findings against PDP was made public. So we're looking up to them now, doing the same thing they have done. Proper investigations were being carried out, bringing out untampered with. Let it come to the public.
The tribunal continues to receive more prosecution witnesses whose oral and written evidences are being thoroughly scrutinized by counsels to the three respondents in line with the relevant sections of the Constitution and the Electoral Act. In Abeokuta, Yemi Dalemo, NTA News.
And for more stories on Nationwide, let's now join Hinkino in our Lagos Network Center. Hello, Hinkino.
With increase in cases of unregulated hawking of drugs and chemicalization of fruits, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has promised to prosecute any individual or group caught in the web of such unwholesome practice. In matching words with action, the agency has begun a synchronized nationwide operation to that effect. Olumide Guntola reports.
Urging the consuming public to report on safe.
Beyond the routine guidelines and procedures for the regulation of food and drugs, the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control is getting more practical this time, with focus on waging war against food and drug hawkers. This move was propelled by a recent trend showing the dangers their activities pose to public health and safety. The Director General, Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, who was represented by the Director of Chemical Evaluation and Research, explained that the activities of drug hawkers are counterproductive to a robust healthcare delivery system, with the mandate to totally eradicate the practice. In enforcing its stance against this practice, the agency is not sparing the food hawkers, including fruit sellers, using calcium carbide for ripening purposes, alongside food vendors using chemicals to cook and preserve cow skin.
The reason why we have to warn about pomo is that pomo actually presently has been contaminated with a lot of preservatives like formalin, which is a chemical that is used for embalmment, and it is formaldehyde. And that is why we are warning people that you should be very, very careful. All those pomo that you cannot be too sure of the source of it, you shouldn't engage in eating them. Especially the ones that they produce in they have in this country. They use tire to burn. And no, tire has a lot of very toxic chemicals that are in it.
The agency affirmed that hawkers are major distributors and suppliers of narcotic medicine to criminal networks, which constitute serious threat to national security. In Lagos, Olumide Guntola, NTA News.
It is a new era for data protection and privacy in Nigeria, with a notable shift from the old ways of handling data. This is evident in the Data Protection Act 2023, and the Nigeria Data Protection Commission, NDPC, has taken a step further to sensitize stakeholders on data privacy and protection in Nigeria.
Immediately that day clicks, they start calling all your friends, you're harassing your family members and the likes.
The Data Protection Act will definitely address complaints like this, especially now that the global digital landscape is highly competitive. Data is the future, and the future is here. This, the Nigeria Data Protection Commission, is fully aware of and is leaving nothing to chance to ensure that the data of over 200 million Nigerians are protected.
It will definitely attract foreign direct investment to Nigeria. Because a lot of countries now, when you don't have your data protection law and your data protection supervisory authority, they don't want to do business with you. With this law, we'll be able to cross that stage.
Collecting this data and protecting this data is important. People won't be able to steal your identity. Your personal data, for instance, is like a key for you in the digital space.
In this digital age, sensitizing stakeholders in all sectors, experts say, will make great impact.
When we talk about health data of patients in healthcare facilities anywhere in Nigeria, even beyond the country, it is something that government needs to really protect. The coming of this law now, we will now begin to make stakeholders and decision makers look in the direction of being compliant.
It seeks to protect individuals. It seeks also to protect even children who cannot ordinarily give legitimate consent on how you can get and use their own data.
With rapid data transformation taking place globally, participants here believe that the sensitization workshop will help stakeholders flow with the trend. That's it from here. Time for some messages, but before then, remember that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. After the break, Abubakar will give you more stories from our Maiduguri Network Center.
Right up to this moment, and this is Maiduguri Network Center. Let's begin with issues that have to do with health. Following the outbreak of the childhood killer diphtheria in Yobe State, World Health Organization has held a media dialogue on the preventive strategies towards sensitizing the public on the highly communicable disease. The media interaction in Maiduguri, steered by the WHO Northeast Emergency Manager Beatrice Muraguri, had journalists joining virtually from Yobe State. Pauline Kujivana has more on that.
Diphtheria is an infection caused by the bacterium Corynebacterium diphtheriae, mostly among children under 5 years, with signs and symptoms usually start from 2 to 5 days, beginning with a sore throat and fever. The interactive media dialogue had the emergency manager WHO Northeast, Dr. Beatrice Muraguri, said the engagement was to empower journalists with the keywords on diphtheria for community to take an informed decision to protecting themselves and the children.
How do we do it better to ensure that we are saving lives? We know this specific information. Let's now use it in the proper way to help us save more lives.
Diphtheria spread easily between people by direct contact or through coughing or sneezing, as well as contaminated clothing and objects. Recent diphtheria outbreaks in Yobe State reflect inadequate vaccination coverage and have demonstrated the importance of sustaining high levels of coverage in childhood immunization programs, as those unimmunized are at risk regardless of the setting. Diphtheria infection is treated with the administration of a diphtheria antitoxin administered intravenously or through an intramuscular injection, and antibiotics are also given to eliminate the bacteria and toxin production, as well as to prevent transmission to others. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kujevana, NTA News.
Away from health matters now to tell you that the federal government is sustaining mechanisms towards ensuring overall safety amongst the 3 levels of education in Nigeria for accelerated development, especially in crisis-affected states like Borno, where the school system is gradually recovering from impact of the more than a decade-long insurgency. It is in that regard that officials of the Financing Safe Schools plan under the Federal Ministry of Finance were in Borno, where they interfaced with officials of the State Ministry of Education. The report.
The education sector in Borno is among other key sectors in Nigeria that has experienced devastation as well as series of threats due to insurgency, hence the joint launching of Financing Safe Schools plan alongside National Policy on Safety, Security and Violence-Free Schools, as well as minimum standards on safe schools by the federal government in December 2022. This visit by officials of Financing Safe Schools in Nigeria, led by the National Coordinator, Halima Ilya Ibrahim, is for Borno State government to understand in clear terms the core mandate of the project, as well as far-reaching contributions it is expected to give towards ensuring sustainability.
If you look at the plan, we have the implementation framework. By 2023 to 2026, we tend to cover 50% of the most at-risk public schools in Nigeria.
Director, Planning, Research and Statistics, Borno State Ministry of Education, Ibrahim Baba, who received the visitors on behalf of the state government, affirmed readiness to support the school intervention initiative in every ramification towards guaranteeing a safe learning environment for learners.
We give them all the maximum support they needed because Borno is one of the most affected by the insurgency, and we need our schools to be secured.
The National Plan for Financing Safe Schools is geared towards achieving real-time response to emergencies across all learning centers in Nigeria.
And those are the latest stories. For now, from Maiduguri, let's now go back to Ifoma in Abuja for more reports on Nationwide.
Thank you very much, Abubakar. And now to legislative matters. Senate has passed a resolution urging the federal government to review the procurement criteria of the National Mass Metering Program in order to prioritize local manufacturing and assembling. It also calls for the suspension of the Transmission Company of Nigeria tender for the Phase 2 of the World Bank-funded Mass Metering Program. A motion from Senator Victor Ume notes that a $155,000 loan approved by the World Bank for the mass metering program, will only promote foreign companies, as the criteria set will be difficult for local manufacturers to meet.
The Transmission Company of Nigeria and other stakeholders to negotiate and engage the African Export-Import Bank, AFREXIM, and the African Development Bank, AFDB, for alternative loan if World Bank loan conditions do not favor local economic growth at this critical time of massive unemployment and devaluation of our currency.
In the meantime, the House of Representatives has mandated an ad hoc committee to investigate the reported use of adulterated aviation fuel by airline operators and the associated safety risks posed to Nigerians in the aviation industry. The Green Chamber describes the trend as a breach of air safety regulations and violation of international best practice in the aviation industry, while requesting its investigative committee to report back for further legislative action within 4 weeks.
Aware of the serious air contamination of the main fuel tank of Boeing 737 aircraft belonging to Max Air, airborne 737-300, landing to the auxiliary power unit, shut down on Thursday, 7th July 2003 at the Yola Airport. Also aware that Max Air has reportedly confirmed that it got the contaminated fuel from certain undisclosed aviation refueling outlets, which eventually led to the unfortunate incident and grounding of its 5N MHM aircraft by the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority.
Mr. Speaker, this is a very, very urgent national issue, in fact a crisis. When I saw the water pouring out of the tanks of that aircraft, I was scared. As someone that flies every day, in fact I'm going to fly today. So I don't think this should wait for standing committee, members of committee, getting used to the committee. It's so urgent.
Mitari Ikpen reports that the House at Thursday's plenary also directs the National Electricity Regulatory Commission to suspend any proposed electricity tariff hike by distribution companies pending an interface with its committee on power. Former President Muhammadu Buhari has urged wealthy sons and daughters of Katsina State to contribute to the growth and development of the states. Awal Haliru reports that the former president was speaking at a retreat of Katsina Endowment Fund tagged Gideoniyar Jihar Katsina, held in Katsina. The reports.
During the retreat open, Katsina State Governor Malam Dukko Umar Rada appreciated the efforts of the Katsina Endowment Fund for their contribution towards the development of the state, saying the pioneers of the foundation have left legacies.
We, the upcoming generation, will be able to sustain such kind of legacy that is left behind for us to continue on. It is in a drive to promote developmental activities in the state and to also complement the effort of the government to make life better for the citizens of Katsina State.
The immediate past president and pioneer chairman of the Board of Trustees, Muhammadu Buhari, urged public and private sectors to contribute in the development of Katsina State.
The importance of Gideonia in Katsina State cannot be overstated. Over the years, it has played a vital role in fostering community engagement, enhancing security, and promoting social cohesion.
Other board members of the foundation described 2023 retreat as a wake-up call for more partnership towards attainment of its goals and objectives. In Katsina, Awal Haliru, NTA News.
Plans are underway to establish electric vehicle charging stations across the country before the end of the year. This is as the National Automotive Design and Development Council, NADDC, seeks to dominate the automotive industry with the introduction of additional electric vehicles. The Director General, NADDC, Jelani Aliyu, dropped the hint at a workshop on validation of the draft National Action Plan for the development of electric vehicles in Nigeria. Comfort Amadou reports.
There have been concerted efforts and strategies by the federal government to develop the Nigerian automotive industry, which includes the adoption of the National Automotive Industry Development Plan in Nigeria. This is targeted at increasing the manufacture and assemblage of electric vehicles and local production to about 40% by 2033. The conversation is focused on establishing electric vehicle charging stations across the country and also on the validation of the draft National Action Plan for the development of electric vehicles in the country.
We're moving on both in the NAIDP 2023 and this specific EV policy to push forward a vehicle financing scheme where Nigerians can put down just a little bit of the cost of an EV, drive it off, take it home, and then pay over 5 to 6 years. We believe this would really tremendously help towards attainability of such vehicles.
Even in the last auto plan that was passed by the Federal Executive Council, the electric vehicle is well captured under that plan, and a whole lot of series of incentives are enumerated there in order to support investments in the industry.
National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NSENI, and other key players in the manufacturing sector are also collaborating with NADDC to accelerate electric mobility in Nigeria.
We have phosphate, we have lithium. Why can't we put it here? That's where NSENI comes in. We make it cheaper, we'll conserve our foreign exchange so that we don't have to use the same money to go out and buy all of these things.
So you have a mini grid and you have a charging station. So the solar mini grid will charge the charging station.
We have a charging station. We have one in Abuja here. We are building one in Kaduna, and possibly we will get one in Kano very soon.
Deliberations at the workshop also focused on the need to implement policies on local electric vehicle production, funding for infrastructure projects, and sustainable measures for stable power supply in charging stations that will be sited across the country. In Abuja, Comfort Amadou, NTA News.
And our Enugu Network Center is next on our lineup. Chineye is our guide. Hello, Chineye.
Amadou, NTA News.
And our Enugu Network Center is next on our lineup. Chineye is our guide. Hello, Chineye.
Hello, Ifo. Enugu. Enugu State government has reiterated its commitment to eradicate the challenges of collapsed buildings and other human-induced disaster. The head, Enugu State Emergency Management Agency, Chinasa Mba, gave the assurance on behalf of the governor while handing over some relief materials to victims of a collapsed building in Banike. Chika Ugu reports.
Although the two-story building which collapsed in June 18 this year, located at Ifo New Layout, Ababanike, in Enugu East local government area, did not claim any life, properties worth millions of naira were said to have been destroyed, rendering 6 families homeless and subjected to untold hardship. Handing over the relief materials to the victims on behalf of the state government, the head State Emergency Management Agency, Chinasa Mba, while commiserating with the victims, said the state government is working to ensure the demolition of structures built always.
His Excellency, the Governor of Enugu State, feeling so concerned about the situation, decided to give them some relief materials to assuage that building collapse they suffered.
Appreciative of the state government's gesture towards their plight, victims of the building collapse hinted that since the incident, they have been struggling to earn a living.
We was not expecting this kind of things from our governor, but to the extent for him to be giving out all these things, we are all grateful to him.
Meanwhile, it was gathered that the incident has been attributed to the waterlogged foundation of the building. In Enugu, Chika Ugu, NTA News.
And that is it from Enugu. Do not forget that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website at www.nt.ng/live and on all our social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. We'll take another break here. Nationwide, we continue with my colleague in Makodi after. Do stay.
It's good to have you join us in Makodi. The Benue State government is to provide the necessary support for the smooth implementation of the Safe Schools initiative to ensure security for school children. Governor Hyacinth Alia made the pledge when he received the team financing safe schools at the Government House, Makodi. Elias Itia completes the report.
The Safe Schools project, an initiative of the Federal Ministry of Education, seeks to provide a secure learning environment free from attacks. Coordinator of the project, Mrs. Halima Ilia, while soliciting the state government's support for the implementation of the program in the state, noted that 48 vulnerable schools have been selected across the state, with 17 other states benefiting from this pilot scheme.
Benue State is one of the very high-risk states. We have written letters out for the governors and the state to take ownership of this project by way of selecting the most at-risk schools from the 3 senatorial zones. We sent an advance team last week and they were here to access these schools, 5 primary schools, 5 junior secondary school, 5 senior secondary school, and 1 tertiary institute.
Governor Hyacinth Alia, while acknowledging the commitment of the Federal Ministry of Education in guaranteeing safer schools, appreciated the team for the inclusion of Benue among the benefiting states. The governor pledged the state government's commitment to the provision of a budget line and other necessary support for smooth implementation of the project.
The selected 48 number of schools is less than 10% of the affected schools, but it is good start that we hope will culminate in interventions on more schools as the economy improves at the macro level.
The Safer Schools initiative is to be implemented under the support of a technical working committee drawn from the State Ministry of Education, the State Universal Basic Education Board, civil society organizations and security formations in the state, with the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps as the lead agency. In Makudi, Elias, ETF, NTA News.
And that does it from Makudi. It's back to Ifoma in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Many thanks, Susan. Osun State now has 25 new commissioners who will form the State Executive Council. At a swearing-in ceremony in Osogbo, Governor Ademola Adeleke tasked the new commissioners to bring new innovations that will help re-engineer the economy and put Osun State back on track for the benefits of all citizens. Femi Afariogun has the details.
8 months now in office as the 6th Executive Governor of Osun State, Governor Adeleke, with the swearing of the 25 new commissioners, has now assembled a team to drive his vision and mission in Osun State. The template before the new appointees is to key into his 5-point agenda, which is to turn the adversity of the state to asset.
We have a duty to turn our adversity into assets. We must re-engineer our economy, generate wealth, engage our youth, deepen our economic base, embrace the digital economy, and implement our climate action agenda.
The new appointees assure the governor of giving their best for the development of Osun State.
We have the government has an agenda, 5 programs, and we are keying into the program as we want to make Osun a better place to live.
3 new permanent secretaries were also sworn in alongside the new commissioners. In Osogbo, Femi Afariogun, NTA News.
Nigeria's Wellington Jihare emerges champion of 2023 North America Scrabble Players Association in Las Vegas, USA, just as co-host nations of the ongoing FIFA Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand win opening matches as Offa Volleyball Club maintains lead in the 2023 Nigeria Volleyball Premier League. For details, let's join Badi Adele. President Bola Tinubu has expressed sadness over the passing of celebrated writer and author Professor Kolli Omotosho, describing his demise as a great loss to Nigeria, Africa and the entire world. In a statement by his special advisor, Special Duties, Communications and Strategy, Dele Alake, the president said Professor Omotosho's contributions to academic development will not be forgotten in a hurry, offering his condolences to his family, friends and associates. Professor Omotosho recently passed away in South Africa. And on that note, we conclude Nationwide for today. We thank you so much for being part of it. I am Ifoma Ojinta. Bye for now.